Welcome to Around the House, sponsored by Romac Building Supply. I'm your host, Don Magruder. In this segment of Around the House, we're going to discuss the changes in Florida's homeowners insurance market. In 2017, we had Hurricane Irma. 2018, we had Hurricane Michael. And my goodness, we may have more hurricanes this year. There's a lot of things that have changed in the hurricane market, and today we're going to try to find out what's going on. My guest is Angela Taylor, the owner of Frank Slaughter Insurance Agency in Wildwood, Florida, and with almost 25 years of experience, Angela has developed a knack for making the complex simple. Insurance in Florida is very complex today, and she's a trusted local expert when it comes to insurance. So with that, I'd like to introduce my good friend Angela Taylor from the Frank Slaughter Insurance Agency. How you doing, Angela?
I'm well. How are you doing today?
We are so glad to have you here because this is a very complex topic. But before we get into it, take a few moments to tell us about Angela Taylor and the Frank Slaughter Insurance Agency.
Well, I am a local girl, raised here. My background, I've been raised in an insurance family. My grandfather was Frank Slaughter, and he built a building and established us back in 1964. About 20 years, 30 years later, my dad bought from him, and then I actually purchased the agency just a couple years ago. We're an independent insurance agency located in Wildwood, and we really offer excellent customer service to our customers.
Now, as an independent agent, that means you carry a multiple of lines. You're not branded to just one line.
I am not married to any insurance company, which is so important based on the hurricanes that you're discussing and how the industry's changing.
Essentially, you're an advocate for the homeowner.
Consumer, yeah.
All right, now if someone wants to ask you a question and come by your office or contact you, first off, where's your office located?
Sure.
And how can you be contacted?
Okay, we're at 820 South Main Street in Wildwood, which is also 301. We're just, a few minutes away from Brownwood, which is on 44. And our phone number is 352-748-2221.
Now, Angela, we're in an era of everything online. You're sort of a throwback. You're a local agent. You know a lot about insurance. Why should someone go to an insurance agent like yourself than just pick up their cell phone and punch in a few numbers and buy insurance that way?
I would say a peace of mind, because I repeatedly every day see consumers who have gone direct, possibly gone to a big machine insurance agency where questions were not asked. If you go online, you're simply following the bouncing ball, you're filling in blanks. You really don't know the coverages that you're choosing. And when you're making a decision based on price without the education, you really can have problems in the event of a claim. Further, if you have a claim, do you really want to be on a phone tree trying to figure out voicemail, which number to choose? You need a local person to help you.
I understand during Hurricane Irma there were a lot of disappointed people who had online insurance. Did you run across that?
Yes. A lot of phone calls weren't being returned. People were being bounced around from one associate to another, and they really didn't have a steady contact to help them to hold their hand through the claim, and it was very discouraging.
So Angela, we had 2016, which was Matthew, which scraped the state, had 2017 Irma, we had 2018 Michael. Who knows what this year's bringing, but I understand there's changes in the insurance industry. Costs are going up, requirements for homeowners. Can you give us some of the things that homeowners are facing now?
Yeah, first, cost of construction is increasing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they have the potential of being underinsured now because they haven't possibly reviewed their insurance recently. I'm starting to see insurance carriers implementing new rules regarding roofs. I just had one last week tell me about a new discount they're introducing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's actually, in my opinion, it's really more of a penalty. Because what happens is when you get your roof updated, you get a much larger discount. And each year as your roof ages, that discount goes away. They're basically pricing their product to where the consumer gets very unhappy with the price around year 10.
But I do want to point out, this what doesn't make sense in the homeowners market. Roof that is put on in Florida, most of the time they're using 30-year architectural shingles. But I'm being told insurance companies are wanting the roofs replaced in 15, 16, and 18 years, no longer than 19 years. So you're losing a third of the longevity of that roof just because the insurance agency or insurance companies demanding it. Are you seeing that?
Absolutely. And I tell you, it goes back to '04. Okay,
really?
because you remember before 2004, we were really very calm with the winds in our area. Didn't see a lot of roof stipulations. And as we keep having these hurricanes hit, we are seeing increased claims. Statistically, the companies are losing money on these older roofs.
The other thing that doesn't make sense is the deductibles. You know, I could understand if they held the roof issue to what they're trying to do if the deductibles were the same for fire and hurricane, but it's totally different. Can you explain the difference between a fire deductible or a casualty deductible and a hurricane deductible?
Sure. And just to put in there, some companies are actually starting to allow you to buy back a lower hurricane deductible.
But it's at a cost.
At a cost, it costs you more money. So what happens, if we have a storm approach the state of Florida, it's usually within a certain parameter, you start getting hurricane warnings, hurricane watches. At that point, if you sustain damage, you have a hurricane deductible. Now, going further, that hurricane deductible stays in place for about 72 hours after the storm leaves.
Okay.
Okay, so a good example, let's say the storm's over, you have no issue, but the next day a tree that was heavy, overloaded, it falls and damages your home.
Okay.
That is a result of the hurricane, and you have your normal 2% deductible.
Now that's important. Normally, most people have a $500 or $1,000 deductible if their home burns. 2% hurricane deductible, it sounds low, but if your home is valued at $200,000, that's a $4,000 deductible.
Exactly.
That's a big deal, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What's the lessons learned from Hurricane Irma and Michael? What we learned?
Well, as a consumer, the consumers learn that there are exclusions in your policy for things like bird cages, pool cages, any attachments such as carports.
Exclusions mean they're not covered.
Correct. Now, sometimes you can buy it back. And what is happening is the companies are introducing this language to you in a little update letter that you may or may not read. And then also fencing. Fencing has been excluded for many years in many policies for hurricane and for wind.
So it seems to me with each hurricane, they're excluding more stuff, raising the prices, and you're getting less coverage. That means you really got to work hard to find the coverage that's right for you, correct? Bet you get a lot of questions these days, aren't you?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about flood insurance.
Okay.
A lot of people don't understand flood insurance and how it relates to hurricanes. Flood insurance is a national program, correct?
Well, there is the national program with FEMA.
Yes.
But we have recently had several companies come out with private insurance, which is actually a way for the consumer to get insurance at a lower price. And the benefit of that, the company has to provide certain guarantees. Their coverage is similar to FEMA. Their financial stability has to be proven, which I don't think FEMA's financial stability has been quantified. So it's a good way, get insurance. It's at a more reasonable price. And you have the same insurance company adjusting the flood as you do the property loss.
The thing about flood insurance that I think confuses a lot of people. A flood is anything that basically floods 2 houses or 3 pieces of property on the street. In other words, if we get a heavy rainstorm, say we get a 12-inch rainstorm and the drain backs up and floods 4 homes,
Right.
puts an inch of water in, and a lot of people in our industry will tell you, a 1 inch of water might as well be 5 feet of water. Damage is damage. You will have to have flood insurance to cover that. Am I wrong or right?
Absolutely. Rising waters from outside, that is consists of a flood. That's what the definition is. And in a neighborhood, it is 2 or more homes. And you're exactly right. What I tell my customers, because they all want to say, we don't have a flood, I'm not on a lake, I'm on a high hill. Well, first off, 40% of FEMA's claims are paid to people in that situation.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. And then what I have seen and what I have warned, this summer we're saturated. We get lots of rain.
Yes.
Okay, if we have a heavy storm come through and drop a lot of rain, you could have a lot of factors that could impact and create a flood, such as if your drainage isn't working properly.
Wow.
So I tell the customers, you need to look up and down your streets. You need to make sure the drainage is being handled properly during non-storm times.
Another big issue, and we got a few minutes to talk about, is assignments of benefits.
Yeah.
A lot of people are being taken advantage of. What's an assignment of benefits?
Well, it sounds great. It's when a contractor, typically what we're seeing is roofers and water restoration companies, comes to a consumer, gives them an estimate. In the estimate, they sign documents that say, you can take care of me. You can contact my insurance company. You can be the go-between between
liaison.
Yeah, and what happens is all of the consumer's rights are removed from the claim. And now the insurance company can only work with this designated business, and the costs get out of control. It's kind of like adding an attorney to the process.
But it also can, the homeowner, if they did want a particular type floor, they could be forced to accept that floor.
Yeah, but last week I was in a class, and what they explained to me on that, when they see a lot of hail, or let's say a hurricane come through, you might see a roofer go through a whole neighborhood, do estimates for everyone, and in it, there's a penalty. I'm talking serious money, say $20,000 penalty to use a different roofer.
Wow.
Yeah, and so what these people are doing is they're locking themselves into this contract, and then the roofing company is so busy, it might take them years to actually get their roof repaired.
Real quick, you also do renters, and a lot of people forget catastrophe happens, and if something happens to a place they're renting, doesn't mean they're covered, correct?
Exactly, and it's really unfortunate because renter's insurance is one of the most affordable insurance policies you can buy.
Couple $100 a year.
$200, and it insures your belongings.
You're an in-house insurance agent. I suggest, and I've done it personally, that people have insurance reviews.
Yeah.
Real quick, what do you go through in your insurance reviews, and does it cost anything to do that?
No, in our agency, we don't charge for our insurance reviews. They're complimentary, no obligation. And what I ask, let me look at your policies. Let me see what you currently have. And then I do an analysis of the home or the vehicle, their assets, and I can tell them what might be missing. And I find a lot of mistakes. And oftentimes it's just not been looked at in so long that it needs to be updated.
I understand. Angela Taylor, thank you for being our guest today. Until next time, we will see you around the house.